Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Zarin Loosely video blog. We don't have that much to talk about this time around, but we do have a couple of hopefully funny stories, so we should have that. And then a few weeks ago I mentioned that I'd gotten a new speaker at a garage sale and that it was so loud it could shake water. So I'm going to try and do a demo of that as well. So, to start out with, New York didn't have that many funny stories, and I talked about most of what we did in the letter that I sent out. There are a few things that were funny. Anna got to see a drunk guy get kicked out of a taxi and puke in the street, so she's never drinking again. And there was the one night that we watched about 3 hours of Modern Family in a row, because we enjoy sitcoms. Okay, whatever. But the really funny stuff happened on Sunday at church. I don't know if it's just the weirdness of Manhattan, or the particular people that happened to be there that week, but church on Sunday was a bit weird. So, to start out with, they used the gym as an overflow, and because Manhattan is much more of a tourist area than a residential one, they had about as many chairs in the overflow as they did in the actual benches, or pews, and no one seemed surprised. No one commented on how many chairs they had to set up, so I guess that's normal. And there were still large families sitting on the stage in the back, though that might have been more to not cause a scene than because there wasn't enough room. There definitely was. That's the other thing, is it really wasn't dense at all. There weren't that many seats that were open 5 in a row, which is what we needed, but there were plenty of open seats, and if everyone had sat together, you probably could have eliminated 2 or 3 rows of chairs. So, after sacrament meeting, we went to Sunday school, which, me and Natalia went to the same Sunday school, which actually I am positive, was for the priests and laurels. I just walked up to a guy, who was putting away the sacrament, and asked if he could show me where to go, assuming that he would be a teacher. And that didn't happen. But Natalia found her way there as well, so she was 2 classes out of her league, and really, there's not that much difference between a short priest and a tall deacon, or a short laurel and a tall beehive like Natalia. Don't let her say that I called her tall. Just kidding. She knows she's tall, but I enjoy making fun of my advantage. Sorry. I enjoy making fun of people that are considerably shorter than me. Anyway, so we go there. Nobody can tell that we're way too young. Turns out that their teacher had, I think, gotten sick and couldn't come at the last minute. So we had a sub, but no lesson plan. So we played Hangman for pretty much 45 minutes straight. And again, not sure if this is Manhattan or the specific people that are in that ward, but, it basically turned into who can find the longest phobia on Tumblr and put it, on the board. For example, if you can't see me, I'm Googling fear of long words, because I cannot remember that word, which is itself a long word, which everyone agrees was intentionally ironic by whoever discovered it. It is hippopotamonstrossequipedalophobia. That was one of the words. that you had to guess with only 5 or 6 letters wrong. Then we went to Priesthood, where there were about 10 new people. We were the only people visiting. There were about 10 people that had just moved in, most of them interns. And in which I accidentally locked the door and then spent quite a while trying to figure out how to unlock it. Then we went to quorum meeting, where there was a quorum of 2, one of whom it was their last week, so I feel kind of bad for the one kid who is left. We had this very nice lesson on the purpose of counselors. We had this very interesting object lesson based on the story of Moses, Aaron, and Hur, where, and I'm going to come back a little bit, there was this battle between the Israelites and, I think it was Philistines, some city that the Israelites were trying to get past in their wandering around in the desert. And while they were fighting, Moses went up on this hill, and every time he put his hands up, the Israelites started winning, and every time his hands dropped, they started to lose. So he had the chubbiest kid in the class stand up at one end of the room and hold his arms like this. And then when he got tired, me, a total stranger, and this other kid had to hold up his arms while he finished the story. And the teacher actually shared this, that when the first time he heard that story, he was doing this tour the Middle East Israel thing, and the instructor actually had 2 of his friends, I think it was the mission president and his counselors, he held up his arms, and his friends held his arms up for the entire lesson, all 45 minutes of it. And I'm not sure what that would be like, because on the one hand, holding your arms like this is exhausting just for a few minutes, but on the other hand, resting your arm on someone else like this shouldn't be that exhausting.